Hello, Warriors. How's everyone doing? Dollar firm today. Surazak, welcome to F.A.C.E. Glad you found us, and I think you will be too. Hi, Sinatra, Mike, Pat, AJ, Ryan's in the house, Blake, K-Man, Paul. Okay, let's go to work. So I have a question for the F.A.C.E. community before I go to the team. Yesterday on that news when we were in the room here, believe it was an inflation number. We attacked 136 again and recovered. So here's my question. Is it a hope low or is it a launching pad for a move to new highs? All right, F.A.C.E. So if it's you think it's a hope low, give me an H. If you think it's an important low and launching pad, give me an L. What do you think? Before I go to the team. Launching pad for Malia. Glenn, launching pad. No one thinks it's a hope low. Okay. How about you, Ryan? I know you're hoping. Break over here, launch. Ryan, you gonna launch?
Yeah, morning, mate. I'm not hoping because, as we know, hope isn't a strategy. For me, it's a take profit level. I'm just knocked a bit off my dollar CAD long here at 85. So yeah, it's held that support 36.50, which is encouraging. We had the little wobble underneath it yesterday over the CPI, which it's the bottom of your two daily candles.
Okay.
Just above. So we had the red one, which held 136.50. We had the blip yesterday, and then today it's holding 136.50. And
okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, maybe call it 4 attacks of support here, and all held. So
that's that's the strong level. 36.00.
Yeah.
Called it 35.85. As I say, just above that, the last 3 days you got that 136.50, which has acted as support. We haven't closed below it.
Okay. All right. So, my tendency is to believe it's hope low because I'm biased. So I'm hoping we crash crash through 136 with abandon.
No.
It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be today.
I'll tell you when I'm out.
What's that?
I'll tell you when I'm out my longs, and then you can have it.
All right. Because if we take out 36, we're going to 32. I mean, here's the weekly picture. Are they going to go for the stops first here? Maybe. Maybe. We have euro under pressure, attacking last week's lows. When's the election, bro? This weekend?
French one is Sunday.
Okay.
And then obviously next week is the UK one.
Okay. So I think the bigger one is the one in Europe. I think that's the one people have the most fear of. The right, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me go to Mr. K-Man. How are you today, buddy?
Good morning, Dale. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so we finally took out
we did
the 60-20 level.
Yeah, this morning it was looking for a while that there were perhaps a few offers around 160, but it did not last for long. It literally stayed there for a number of minutes, no, not very long, and it's just gone through. Yeah, I guess it's just the way things are. I think the next well, we've said it a couple of times already. It's too high to jump in right now, and it's too big to stand in front of the train. There should be a bit of interest to sell dollar yen into month end, or sell dollars in general, basically. But is it going to be enough to stop this train? It's a big question. And as usual, I'm always looking not only at dollar yen but at all those in crosses, and
crosses.
they are still extremely big, all of them.
Okay. Well, I'm taking a shot here. After all, I am Forex stop hunter. So far we're 13 pips over the prior high,
Mm.
and where a lot of the stops were. So let's see by the end of the session or end of
Yeah,
the week how happy people are to be stopped out at 160.22.
keep
Um,
keep an eye on the
so
4 p.m. London fixing today, Dale, and everybody. It's in 3 hours time.
what's that in 3 hours?
The London 4 p.m.
Oh,
fixing. We are trading
okay.
value date end of month today, and it could be that there's a bit of dollar shopping to do by the US corporates, as
Okay.
we mention every end of month. So we could print a little high on the dollar, perhaps around 4 p.m. London time. As I said, in 3 hours from now.
Okay. All right. Moving over to what's going to be affected by the election. Um, another inside week.
Hey, Dale, you're
Yeah,
really
sure.
quiet. Just
Go ahead.
your microphone. If
Okay. Let me see if I could correct that. Any better now?
Yep.
it is actually, thank you,
Okay.
and good morning.
And good morning, buddy. So I know you're counting the days until you could get to the coast. Uh,
Oh yeah,
huh? Where are you going to
yes,
be? Go
sir.
ahead, make me jealous. Where are you going to be over the
I'll
4th?
I'll be in Mission Beach, right next
All
to
right.
the Catamaran Hotel. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All right. With all the all the young kids. You're a kid.
I have teenagers, so yes.
Oh, they're going to be running wild. All right.
Yes.
So I'm noticing a nice little reversal in silver here. I mean, this is strange. I mean, moving sideways. I guess you just have to have conviction. If the yen peaks, it should be positive for gold. We're getting a little bit of a bounce in yields here. A lot of people pointing out this support level. Look like it still needs to close under 420. I don't think it has much more than 432, 433 in it. I'd be surprised if it could penetrate that, but it's still another 5 bips away. Great call on the Gartley. It shows that you can have different, uh, you know, different styles of coming up with the same conclusion. Because I was talking about for about a week or so that S&Ps and Nasdaq would make a new high without the Dow, and the Gartley pattern. I didn't even know we had one until yesterday. Looks pretty good. Maybe when you take the screen, you could talk about the potential of this move if it's Gartley, and right now
Sure.
it looks like it is. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure. And I'd be more than happy to. But before we even get into that, you'd mentioned precious metals, and we have Stelios here who's
Oh my
says he's
God.
not going to talk about precious metals, but he should because he's here and
Yeah.
he's been on the right side. So
But you make fun
Uh,
of me, so I'm not going to talk about
no, I only made fun of you in private, not in public.
and
But in
I know,
public,
I know.
I'll start making fun of you then.
anyway, all you have to do is show your P&L and people stop
That's right. Then it
and
shuts
become
everybody up.
and become jealous. So
let, let me
what are
take
your
the
levels?
screen. Let me take the screen for a couple of minutes, okay?
That'll cost you.
Oh, all right.
Okay. It's $10 a minute, man. All right, go
Okay,
ahead, make it count.
I've got it. So,
Oh,
I mean,
look, Blake did that.
we talked about precious metals, so I'm going to talk about them very briefly. I think Gregor's talking about 28, I think, as support. I think we could even retrace all the way back to the low 26s. The main sign was, remember when silver broke out, went to 32, everybody was saying, oh, 40, 50, 100. When that happens, that it's going to correct. And I think we're in some kind of a flag or consolidation pattern, you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. For people who have been following me on the chat room, I did switch out of a chunk of my silver into platinum, which has done pretty well. Comparatively speaking, it's up a little bit as well today, 1 point something % compared to silver. So I like that because the platinum silver ratio was hitting lows, so around down
Yeah.
here. So now it's bounced. But anyway, I think we're correcting. Could we continue to correct? Of course, especially if the dollar yen keeps going to the moon. Yields are not really driving metals at the moment, I don't think. I think it's a lot of positioning, a lot of clearing of positions and stops as well, because people got really bullish really quickly. Gold, I think, is a similar kind of pattern. This might not be a flag like that. It might be something like that. I mean,
Some
depends
people
on.
are calling it a head and shoulders top.
Could be, yeah. I mean, could be correct, Laura, of course. What do we think? What do I think happens in the medium term? I think we're going a lot higher.
Yeah.
And it's just simple mathematics. And you can in the short term you can trade around something both ways. I think in the medium term these are going higher. I mean, it's just with the way debt and credit are expanding, I don't see how we can avoid that. But anyway,
Do you
enough
have
about
levels
metals.
there? Do you have levels you like it at?
Well, these lows here in silver, 22, we're
No,
getting
that's
close,
gold.
22.75. Sorry, gold, yeah, 22.75
Yeah.
is probably
Okay.
not a bad place to try, or if you're short to take profits. But could we break below? Of course we could. Oh,
Okay.
yes, okay. And silver, well, we're getting close to the first levels, which are probably 28.5 or so, but really the big one is 26.10,
That was the
26.20.
breakout. Yeah.
That's the one.
And I gotta ask you guys this, and by the way, Greg is here too. I'm sure he's gonna give us some Elliott wave levels that he's looking at in a bit. So make sure you all stick around for that. But I wanted to ask. I mean, I know you're pointing out all these key levels, but we have obviously event risk over the weekend with the French elections. The dollar is really close to resistance. What happens, Stelios, if in your views, if the dollar breaks out, which is entirely possible? I mean, we
Breaks
could
out higher.
literally, yeah, we could
Yeah.
be looking at Monday morning, the euro's trading at 104, and we're like, oh God, here goes the dollar, and the dollar index, and the dollar yen's trading at 162 or whatever. Does that change your views at all on precious metals?
I think if that happens, we're going to get to those levels quicker. But so if the dollar starts rallying, I think we're going to start rallying hard. I mean, I think we're going to get quicker towards this 26 level, 26.20. If not, then I don't think we're going to get there. So does it change my levels? No. I mean, that's my level. If we get there in a week or in 3 months, that's what I'm aiming for, to get long a little bit more. But if that happens, what you say about the dollar, then most likely yields are going to be rising as well. And the risk is going to get sold. It's the knee-jerk reaction that markets know. So
Well,
I don't know. Yeah.
it's we were having this conversation the other day, and I know you weren't here, and Dale will jump in here too. We're old enough to remember when there was, and we've seen risk aversion in the market where you actually see bonds moving higher and the dollar moving higher despite yields moving lower. And even precious metals can move up at the same time. So, but I haven't smelled risk aversion in a few years since we had a COVID lockdown. So it's been a while, right? I think
Yep.
everybody's lost their smell for what happens when stocks, if stocks correct.
Yeah, well, the point is that, again, going back to the way money supply is increasing, I think we all know that, in the medium term, in the long term, everything's going to be going higher due to inflation. So what happens? Every dip gets bought. And this has been happening for the past 10, 15 years. Every single dip gets bought, even the COVID one, which was, let's face it, a situation that we'd never seen before, or at least I hadn't seen before.
I
We
don't think
dipped.
anybody's seen, really.
Yeah, we dipped quite substantially, from 3.33 down to 2.23 or something like that, and then we took it all back within 2 months, 2.5 months. It did incredible. So the markets know that if something bad happens and stock starts crashing, central banks are going to come in. They're going to start buying everything again, even though they don't say it and they deny it. They will do that again. So logic says everything goes higher in the long end, so in the long term. So what do people do? They buy every dip, And frankly, it's been working since, 2000. Well,
And I think there's a big
yeah.
disconnect there. I think a lot of people really struggle with the idea, understanding that as inflation goes up, inflation is inflationary for stocks too. And
Yes,
that,
of course.
so that's, but a lot of people are like, wait, why are stocks still going higher? And oh, the economy is doing this or earnings are doing that. It's inflationary. Stocks are going up with inflation. So
Exactly.
it's an interesting dynamic that I think people really need to understand.
Yeah.
Celia, so did you have any other charts you
One
were
more
going to
thing
show?
I want to say,
Okay.
one more thing, and then I'll pass it over to Grega, if he's here. Dolomex, I still like short this pair. I think the levels are quite clear around, well, these highs here. Now, there was a zone I drew some time ago, but really in the 19, I think is the level above which we start becoming bullish. If you short this, you're getting some really nice carry. Is it like 6% or something like that? So I really like this trade still to be selling rallies into that resistance.
Oh, them's fighting words. All right. You know what? I'll take over from here, but I want to get Greg's input, and we can look at some of the charts in ForexAnalytix. Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. Thanks.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about Slovenia. Are you guys going to advance?
Yes.
All
And
right.
you as well, so everything is fine.
All right. All right. Ryan doesn't think that that's so cool. Just kidding.
Well, this is a weird one because Greg has obviously picked. Well, I've got Slovenia in our draw in the chat room. We're obviously an England supporter, so it was mixed emotions last night.
Yeah, if you guys don't know where the action's at in our community right now, it happens to be in the Euro 2024 chat room. So it's a little, it sucks because when all the games start, it's like it drains the liquidity out of the FX market, and then we're not no one's chatting in the chat rooms, and the markets go completely dead. Anyway, enough about football. Grega, what are your thoughts here on the Euro? Because, obviously we have, some big developments coming up this weekend. So it looks like that you are
I
looking
think,
for, go ahead.
yeah, I just think that we are stuck in this triangle range. I don't want to be too smart here and saying where we go from here. I'm just waiting on ranges to be broken. But still, I assume that later this year, the dollar could potentially come to the downside, and that could be positive for the euro. But firstly, now we are moving into this summer period. I think it's a perfect time for corrections to unfold on stocks. Keep in mind, we have seen a pullback and corrective setback on metals. Cryptos are following, and now all what we need to do is to see also stocks coming to the downside. So I think that we could fall into some very big sideways range for the next few months, and then maybe after summer, when we are in election period, I think that stocks could again resume to the upside. But for now, I just think also because in Canada and Australia we have higher inflation, markets obviously are realizing that, and that's why maybe we have some downside pressure on equities, which could resume here over the next few weeks.
Yeah, speaking of the Aussies, so the Aussies given back the gains following the inflation data, and don't forget, guys, Canada did the exact same thing. We had strong Canadian inflation. Canadian dollar CAD's already back up towards yesterday's highs. It is above yesterday's highs, and despite the strong inflation data, so the Aussies kind of doing the same thing. What are you thinking with the Aussie here? I mean, we're in such a tight range.
I still think that that's a range, but I think that lower we go, stronger can be support, and I would be buying Aussie at lower levels. I still think that we are in this consolidation, and that most likely we will probably resume to 0.680 rather than revisit that April lows. So in the short term, I'm neutral, but then again, after summer, I just think that there can be more upside here. But I think that the biggest risk is obviously stock market, where the US stock market is trading. We have Nvidia coming down quite a lot here over in this week. So I think that maybe Nvidia could potentially bring us even lower, and this could obviously impact the broader stock market.
What do you think about the Dow not
Go ahead.
making new highs, Greg?
I mean,
with the S&P and NASDAQ making new highs.
yeah,
And the
I
Russell.
mean, yeah, Dow was quite diverging away from S&P and Nasdaq, and Dow actually can be forming some kind of a maybe triangle in the short term. So there's still actually quite a nice range that can at some point take us higher. But I would not be chasing it here. I just think that this correction is still maybe can resume, maybe not so deep, but at least to the right.
All right. Thank you for your input here. And I'm going to ask one last thing of you, Grego, just because obviously you're looking, we're all looking at the dollar yen right now, and the dollar yen.
I have to
is,
update the charts. Yes, the dollar.
Oh,
yen.
you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but let's go into your monthly charts. So, just because, we're obviously at some resistance.
We are back here. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
If you go to the daily, you can still go to daily alternate. Okay, that's the one. So I'm still looking for this very big wedge that it's playing out right now. I think that 163, 164 is a major resistance for dollar yen. We all somehow assume that they will try to bring Japanese yen higher, and I just think that at least the rhetoric will probably force dollar yen to move in this direction, if not actions.
So you're still thinking that we're in this like big wedge here, and I'm just drawing it out for everybody so you can all see it.
Exactly.
We're in something like that, and so your wave count's going to take us just a little bit higher towards 160.
163, 164 is ideal resistance, yes.
Yeah, okay. And that makes sense. I mean, you can see the market kind of getting stopped out, volatility picking up in the yen. Just so everybody knows, daily sentiment index is pretty extreme too. It's I think it's at 12 or 13. It's pretty extreme as far as sellers go. So and CFTC data is obviously very skewed too. So you think we could make it up there first before reversing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Appreciate that. Hey, before we go back over to Ryan and K-Man and back to Dale, what do you think, or what's on your radar like right now? And Stelios too, if he's still here. I don't know if Stel's still here.
As I mentioned, I really love silver, how it's moving to the downside here. I think that maybe we take these levels, new lows for June, and then we bottom around $28.50. That would be my probably on my watch list, because I really like how this price action is overlapping and certainly looks corrective. It doesn't really have any strong movement to the downside that will convince us that that's a new bearish trend. So I somehow think that 28 is a pretty nice level here for silver.
All right. Yeah, and it also coincides with a 618 Fibonacci level too. So that'd be interesting, and we could see it. I mean, it's the end of month, end of quarter, so a lot of volatility tends to come in around this time of the market. So it should be interesting. Well, Greg, it's great to hear your voice. Real quick before, I know Stelios, his time is always limited. Stelios, real quick, I know you had mentioned that you are looking at a few things. But what's like, I know you like the dollar max, you just talked about it. What else is on your radar?
I think Stelios is gone now, Blake.
Oh, he just left. Oh, dang. He was just here. All right. Well, K-Man, since you're speaking, how about you? What are you thinking, as we go into North American trade here?
Yeah, well, I'm as usual going to trade with the clock close at hand. I like Gregor's level at around 28. I do have bits in silver down there as well, as people in the room already know. And I'm looking to counter trade dollar strength if we see any develop in the next 2.5, 3 hours. That's about it. I think the signals are big enough for the dollar to suffer a little bit into month end. I was somewhere hoping that the gold could clean out the 23 again and go closer to 22.80, 85 to add. I've got a little bit running, but to add. Yeah, that's about it right now. I'm not going to counter the dollar yen because I don't know. We've got levels 162.5 extension, the 163, 164 Greg has showed. There's also a very long-term 163 is coming in there in dollar yen, but it's just too big to counter it. Right now, it still seems that only interventions will come to the rescue of the yen, but never say never.
Yeah, and just again, for those of you that have been listening, and real quick, let me just pull up right here the 6J. The 6J is getting close to the 161% extension, but we're still a little bit distance away for that Wyckoff. You can see the selling is on very low volume, so something to keep in mind. But I agree with what K-Man just said. It's like you're gonna need some intervention or some really strong words, which I don't foresee happening, or maybe a real reversal in yields, which could happen over the next couple of days with US data coming out. Ryan, what are your thoughts going into today's trade? What are you looking at? You gonna do anything with this euro sterling? It sure is trading heavy.
I might have a nibble if we get down to 84, but even here, it's doing nothing. It's bang in the middle, 30s, 50s. I was in a little bit last week. I got bored with it, so I chucked it out. No, I'm not doing anything with this one. Dollars, the main watch point at the moment. I've got, as I said, dollar CAD I've got on. I've got some dollar rand with the rest of you. Dollar China's moved up to 730s. So yeah, it seems to be all about the dollar today.
Yeah, the dollar CNH. I know you blogged about this last week, and you're talking about how China might let the yen or let the yuan go, and it has been it's been weakening ever since you wrote that blog. I mean, we literally broke out that day, and it looks like we're heading back to 735. Yeah. So where people get a little people might get a little nervous up here, right?
I don't know. It depends what's driving it. I mean, the good thing is they've been letting the fixes go. Their midpoint fixes. They've been creeping higher 10, 15, 20 pips a day. They've been stuck for weeks and weeks in the 710, 711 area, but now they're creeping up through 712. So this might have some legs, but you don't know how much of this is also end of month. But if we get above 730s into 732s, 31, 32, I'll start taking a bit of profit.
Got it. Well, appreciate it. We today we got some new home sales data coming out. Now, remember, that's more going to be for the economy, not necessarily for. It's not going to alter much of the consumer sentiment here in new home sales. It's going to be more. Let's see what how much ground's being broken here in the U.S. I want to shift your focus a little bit to the Kiwi. Kiwi dollar has been on my radar because two reasons. A, you got the Aussie Kiwi that's absolutely ripping balls right now higher, thanks to the Australian hot CPI. Mark Chandler, him and I have been chatting a lot about getting bullish above 108.30, and it's just been. You can see that rally consolidation. Now you got another leg higher. So if the dollar really starts to strengthen, watch the Kiwi, because the Kiwi is nearing pretty critical support. You got the 50 DMA, 200 DMA meets right around the 38% retracement. If the dollar starts going on a rampage, and you see the euro breaking below, let's say 106.50, maybe 106.40, the Kiwi dollar pivoting off of a multi-year trend line could really, come under pressure. We could see a move back into the, below 60 cents. And so I think that the Kiwi needs to be on your radar if you are trading dollars. Dale, we got just a couple of minutes left. What are you focused on here?
Well, I'm trying to stay alive in my short in USDCAD. I took a shot at the yen for a scalp, thinking it's a stop hunt. Right now, I think we're only about 10 pips above the prior high, and also shorting more Dixies with stops over 106.50.
All right, so you want to be short the dollar here while we're up against this resistance, because you don't believe the dollar is going to break out.
Well, my stops protect me if that happens.
Yeah, and look, this is as we go into and by the way, I haven't done any reading, or I haven't read yet the research that is in the ForexAnalytix room about some of the end of month rebalancing. Ryan, what are we expecting that you've read this far? I've just because I haven't been up long enough.
Good question. Let me scroll
Oh,
back.
he's going to look as he's looking.
Dollar
Okay.
selling. Dollar selling.
Dollar selling. Okay.
Yeah.
We're some dollar selling is expected, which, you know, you guys know that sometimes the end of month rebalancing by banks is not their estimates are they can be off quite dramatically too. So but watch the dollar. I think Dale's level here at 106.50 is really critical, because if the dollar index, breaks above that, it's probably more Europe.
108, 110.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's really like, what happens during these French elections, and do we start to see another move in French yields, and what does that look like, and how's the market taking that? And I think it has more to do with Europe versus the dollar. But then again, and then everybody would look around and go, well, the dollar remains that least dirty shirt in the closet or in the hamper. And plus, I mean, you saw that data yesterday, the consumer confidence data, the conference board data. I mean, I was impressed. I don't know how that actually sustained. And actually, I had an interview with Danielle DiMartino Booth. The first thing I asked her, I'm like, hey, what's up with consumer confidence? Because, you would think that it would not be the case. And I had a great conversation with her. If you guys don't know where to find that interview, it's on tradersummit.net. You can see it right there. That was with her from yesterday. So yeah, interesting stuff. But Dale, I know you have your interview right now. I just want to say thank you, Ryan and K-Man, for keeping us abreast of what's going on, especially on the Flow Show for those of our traders that are around during European hours. We appreciate you. Stelios, it was great to hear his voice as always. And Grega, thank you for showing up today and giving us your Elliott views, especially on the yen, as we are in levels we have not seen since the 1980s. Back when Dale was singing karaoke.
In the 80s?
Yeah.
No, I was in a band back then.
Oh, back when Dale was on stage.
Yeah, the Hands of
Hey,
Time.
Dale, what was your stage name? Did you have a stage name? Or was it not that kind of stage?
Time and Dale.
I love it. Dale, have a great interview.
What a great name, the Hands of Time.
Time and Dale.
I was a big hand. Anyway, so let's get serious about metals. Stel should be here. James Anderson is one of the best physical metals guys I know. Welcome back, James. And certainly a lot has happened in 3 months since we've been together. How have you been, Boro? James, do I have to unmute you? No, you're good.
He might need to check his connection. James, if you were on a different platform like GoToWebinar or StreamYard or something, it might have taken your microphone connection and put it somewhere else. So
you're unmuted, so
because he's unmuted and we can't hear him. So that means his audio settings, his microphone is connecting to some other audio
darn platforms.
I know every time you jump to a different platform, it pulls from where your audio source is, and so
I think I hear him.
I think I do too. James,
you around, buddy? Very disappointing if we can't hear him today. Still waiting for you, buddy. Okay, we'll have to reschedule. Unmute bottom left. He's not muted.
No, you're not muted.
All right, well, maybe I'll bring him back Friday. I don't think I have someone Friday. James, you want to do that? You could text me in the chat. Come back Friday and talk about things.
I think he's just jumped and might be going out and coming back in again.
Yeah, let's see.
Maybe give him a minute to come back in.
Did he say that in the messages? Let's see if he comes back.
Yeah, Friday open. I'm sure he's been swamped, since gold broke out and everything.
Right.
A lot of people buy physical, stack it. You do too, don't you, Blake? You have some physical.
I do. I do.
What's your address?
I don't know. Not within driving distance of your house.
Well, it might be
The old
worth it, though.
sharp, the
I'll
old
bring my
Phil
metal
Sharp.
detector. I'll find your coffee can next to the pool.
You
right.
can't. I got it inside of the cookie jar, buddy. Inside of the cookie jar, my coffee can.
All right. Well, I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah.
So I'll just reschedule him from Friday if I could get him to do that. Maybe we'll have more answers about the metals after a few more numbers anyway.
Awesome.
What do you think, Blake?
Sounds good. All right.
Thanks,
Coach. Yeah, good luck with getting James back.
I will. I'll get him.
Right.
I'm Forrest Guest Hunter. He's not getting away from me.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Yeah.
All right. So everyone have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. And Peter Bookfire will be here. And I have some important questions to ask Peter because he's trying to buy the yen here. And I found some interesting things in his letter. Do you guys know that in the CPI, they use rents instead of housing prices? And we all know what happened to rents, right? I mean, they're about 23% since COVID, but housing prices are up 46. And if they use the price of homes instead of rents, we'd have a double-digit inflation rate right now. So the Fed, if they really want to get inflation down, they have to break the housing market.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Dale, I have my nephews and nieces are all in their 20s. Yeah. And I'll just tell you, the American dream is dead for the youth right now. And
not only the youth, though, look, a lot of people in 08, Blake, got blown out of their homes. Blackstone bought them, and they're renting them to the previous owners.
Yep.
So, I mean, they have to do something about Blackstone's monopoly on the residential housing market. Of course, they have to build. But also, I don't know how big the vacation rental market is, but that would bring some supply back, and nothing like a good old-fashioned recession to bring down housing prices, which people say we're not in yet. I think we're already in one. Go to your restaurants, Blake, and compare them to last year. And tell me if they're as crowded.
I live in an area that's
Scottsdale.
It's a little unaffected, but yeah, I'm sure there's different places where you can.
I mean, they're even closing down Hooters.
What?
They're closing down a lot of Hooters. Yeah.
No more orange shorts.
And Rubio's started in California. They're shutting down 50 stores.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, there is some stuff about consumer spending going on. Anyway, James for sure isn't back now. So everyone have a good day. Hey, thanks, K-Man, if you're still around. Stel's gone, and Ryan and
cheers, mate.
Blake, and hey guys, check out all the great blogs that the guys are putting out on Twitter, on X. Some great reading, and they're all on the website too, but you may have to be a member to read them, but they're on X. Great research coming out of here. All right, Laura, everyone, don't just count your pips, count your blessings tomorrow. Yeah, need some money. Okay, great ideas, great community. We're all glad to serve you guys. Adios.
Thanks,
See you,
Coach.
team.